Hi everyone and welcome to Namehero.com. Today I want to talk about developing our infrastructure here, and I'm talking about the world's fastest shared web hosting in 2017. So I just want to take a moment and break away from all the corporate BS that you read across the internet and all the advertisements and promises and false marketing and all that stuff, and I just want to talk real here. I want to talk real to you as a CEO of one of the fastest growing web hosts in the world right now. At Namehero, we do things a lot differently here, and I believe it's because a lot of our office culture here is we're internet entrepreneurs, and we're trying to create a better experience for everyone when it comes to web hosting. We're not so concerned about board meetings and profits and ROI and all this stuff that all these companies just want to do. We just want to provide awesome web hosting. That shouldn't be such a challenge, in my opinion. It should not be that hard. So let me talk a little bit about, kind of what I saw in the industry and kind of the way we're heading and how we are here in this kind of uncut video. So companies that try to sell web hosting for under $5 a month, that can be kind of a challenge, because really if you're going to hire a support representative and you have to pay them a fair wage, obviously, well, how many support people can you hire if you're offering web hosting for $5 or less a month? Especially when you look at companies, large companies like GoDaddy. I mean, they do billions of dollars a year in revenue, and they also spend millions of dollars in advertising. I mean, they really have done a great job with their marketing. I think everyone can agree with that. But when you're spending that much money and you're a publicly traded company, you have to show good financials, because if they're showing poor financials, then investors are going to leave and they won't have any cash to spend on advertising and developing out their products. Well, I can tell you from owning a web hosting company that a lot of companies will overload their servers to create this ROI, return on investment. So a lot of companies that sell $5 a month web hosting, they simply will provision accounts on dedicated servers, and where the dedicated server may handle 100 customers, well, they may jam-pack 500 on it, thinking that, well, the majority of people probably won't use all their space. They probably won't even touch the RAM in the server. So we're going to go ahead and overload it because our cost is this, and our profit is that, and our ROI is this big. So we've seen this going on for the last 20 years, for the last 30 years. I mean, since the internet was in the way early days, web hosting providers have came out and they've offered this cheap hosting. But you notice with a lot of the big names out there, the quality is really bad. But that's why, because they're simply overloading their servers to get an ROI. And so that's why I started Namehero, is I just saw a need in the industry to do things differently than other web hosts. And I don't want to completely dog GoDaddy and these other companies, because you may have had a good experience with them, and I'm sure people do. But I got frustrated because I used to own an internet marketing discussion forum where we taught others how to do affiliates and internet marketing. And the problem was no one could find a good web host to host their landing pages. And that should be simple. And this was back in 2011 through 2014, 2013. Back in those days, that should be easy to find a web host, and it should not cost you hundreds of dollars a month to have a high-speed, quality web host. But I couldn't find one to recommend. To my users, I recommended some smaller VPS companies, because I felt like there was no good shared hosting company out there that you had to at least get a $70 a month VPS to have any type of quality. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And let's talk about 2013. Back in 2013, I was also the chief financial officer and co-owner in one of the largest mobile advertising agencies around. And I was in charge not only of the financials, but also of building out our servers to host our websites, our software, our portals, our landing pages, and all that stuff. And so it kind of puzzled me, because I built out our infrastructure in the cloud and using high quality hardware, and we had 99.9% uptime. We very rarely went down. I mean, very rarely. And they were fast. Our websites were all fast. But I always wondered, like, why isn't a hosting provider offering this to people? And I realized that it was because of the expense. And so Namehero, that's how we're different. When I built Namehero, I used this same technology that I was using for my own websites and built this out, but then I decided to make it public, to offer it to individuals and small businesses and other entrepreneurs that want to have their website online for an affordable cost But I took this big plunge to say, well, I'm going to do things completely different. Rather than setting up cheap dedicated servers and making this massive ROI early on, I am going to take this investment upon myself and do something different by offering quality. And that if I continue to offer quality hosting services backed by 10 for 10 customer service, then power and numbers will catch up and we'll be able to make this ROI sustainable to create this web hosting company. And that's what we've done here at Namehero. Early on, we're now 3 years into Namehero, 3.5 years into Namehero, and we're seeing just exponential growth. And it comes into the core of our company and our organization is how the infrastructure has been built. 99% of web hosting companies that come out nowadays, they're not going to take that plunge because it doesn't, really being a business guy, it doesn't make the best sense to go in that heavy as we did building our infrastructure. If I was seeking outside investments, I probably would not have sealed a lot of capital because they would say, well, why are you doing things this way when you could save probably 300% by doing it this way? And so that's what's wrong with the industry, in my opinion, is that companies are too fast to cut their corners and to have a crappy infrastructure. And then going back and fixing that later is a really big pain. And we're finally seeing large companies such as Bluehost. They just announced recently that they're going to get SSD drives, that they're going to start using Nginx instead of Apache. They're going to start making these changes because they have to. Because hosting companies that do not focus on their infrastructure, they're going to have to change or they're going to lose their customers. It's that simple. And so at Namehero, I wanted to start things the right way. It would be so much cheaper to buy old school SATA hard drives and to not use SSD drives. It would be so much cheaper to use Apache instead of Lightspeed. It would be so much cheaper to go about cutting corners and using traditional old school dedicated servers. But I just didn't want to and don't want to, and I'm not going to do that because that's how we're going to, in my opinion, build the world's fastest shared web host ever. And that's just kind of how we're going. Now, I'm going to say, and I'm not doing this video to stroke my ego because we're far from the largest web hosting company out there. Far from it. But I will put our month after month growth up against any of the large companies. And I completely credit this to our users and our customer experience. Our reviews, our users, they market us for us. We don't even have to do much marketing because word of mouth is so strong. Just because we want to offer quality service. We're internet entrepreneurs. We have websites. We need hosting. We're just offering what we need ourselves to other people. Now, in the coming months, we're really going to gear things up. We are going to go out and we're going to go on this multi-million-dollar advertising campaign to really get our message out, because I believe it's a message that needs to be heard, especially for those that are creating blogs every day, that are creating websites for their businesses. I don't believe you should pay a fortune, and I don't believe you should settle for slow web hosting. It's 2017 now. It's time to be on the cloud, and it's time to have your website fast, and it's time to be reliable, secure, and redundant, and not worry about downtime. I was reading a thread on Web Hosting Talk yesterday, and it said, avoid this certain company like the plague. And they were talking about downtime and poor customer service and all that. And I just really feel like it's unexcusable. I just really feel like that nowadays that you should be able to get a web hosting account that's not plagued with downtime. And you should have a friendly staff that backs up and helps you. It takes a lot of work, but that's kind of the culture here at Namehero. Is we are just giving out what we need and to other people. And it kind of goes back to that old thing, treat your neighbor like you would want to be treated. Well, we're treating our customers like we want to be treated for our own businesses. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of give you an unhinged, uncut, and kind of our vision here at Namehero, how we're going about things completely differently. And again, we're by far the biggest. And I don't know if we'll ever become the biggest because we're not going to be the cheapest. But we're just going to continue going our route. We're going to continue offering really quality, high-speed hosting with 10 for 10 customer satisfaction. And where we grow, I believe that word of mouth will take us everywhere that we need to go. But I'm not a greedy person. I'm not into Namehero to become the richest guy in the world. I'm into Namehero to offer a high-speed, quality web hosting infrastructure. I'm in this to help my customers develop their businesses and sleep better at night. I appreciate good reviews more than I do seeing the money come in. So if you do use this, I would love for you to send us in a review, let others know. Read through what others say because I kind of let our customers speak for us just because I believe in treating them just like I would like to be treated. And that's really what sets us apart here at Namehero, is we just try to do things differently by treating people how we would like to be treated. And in my opinion, this is creating and building the best 2017 fastest shared web hosting out there. If you have any questions or would like to know more about our services, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on social media. You can tweet me at Ryan Lee Gray. You can hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/marketing.shtml, or you can shoot me an email, ryan@namehero.com. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to get to know about your business, and I'd love to help you understand how we can help you. But thanks so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoy our services here at namehero.com.